with a special music video from the Jewish a cappella group 613. Just let me know when we're live because I'm sharing my screen. Okay.
Bye.
All right, friends, we are going to mute you. It's not because we don't care about you.
So that you're on screen.
Okay. All right, I'm going to share new, and then the faces are all going to disappear. So Mira and Cantor, if there's anything I need to know, just tell me out loud.
There once was a time in Egypt land, the Jews were slaves in the deserts, and we cried out for an outstretched hand, oh let my people go.
Soon may our freedom come to bring us liberty, peace and fun. One day when the Pharaoh's outdone, he'll let my people go.
Brave Moses with his shepherd's rod had heard the mighty voice of God. It said, tell Pharaoh clear and strong to let my people go.
Soon may our freedom come to bring us liberty, peace and fun. One day when the Pharaoh's outdone, he'll let my people go. Oh, what shall we do with the middle matzah? What shall we do with the middle matzah? What shall we do with the middle matzah? Early in the Seder. Hide it away, it's the Afikomen. Hide it away, it's the Afikomen. Hide it away, it's the Afikomen. Early in the Seder. Oy vey, let's get some prizes. Oy vey, let's get some prizes. Oy vey, let's get some prizes later in the Seder. Soon may our freedom come to bring us liberty, peace and fun. One day when the Pharaoh's outdone, he'll let my people go.
Now Pharaoh's heart was not appeased, no Hebrew slave shall ever go free. But Moses said, let's wait and see, the plagues began to grow.
Oi! Soon may our freedom come to bring us liberty, peace and fun. One day when the Pharaoh's outdone, he'll let my people go. Oh.
Just lean to the left and we'll tell the tale of how we left Egypt. God split the sea and we walked across with no need for a ship.
But first, before we get to that, there's songs and questions for. Just when you think it's almost done, there's 3 hours more. There's 3 hours more.
For Pharaoh sent men after us, their lives would soon be lost. And we spill wine drops from our cups, cause freedom had a cost. Cause freedom had a cost. So every year we celebrate our freedom with a smile.
With Moses and Ramses too. Yocheved the Levi, the Pharaoh's daughter, and Aaron and Myriam on the Egyptian Nile. Hey lads, the Seder has come with questions asked by the youngest one. We'll sing and have some fun for wonders long ago.
Egyptian firstborn sons were lost, the sea of reeds we firmly crossed. They followed but was at great cost,
They all were dragged below. Hey lads, the Seder is done. We told our tale of redemption. The Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim. The Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim.
I have to thank Cantor Binder for finding that video. I think it's fantastic and really sets the tone for our evening together.
If you want to watch it later, it's called the Red Sea Shanty.
All right. Words are up on the screen for everyone, so you can follow along that way. But if you print it out in advance, your Haggadah, you're welcome to follow along that way as well. Welcome to our virtual Seder. This night is different than all other nights in many ways. As we celebrate the freedom of the children of Israel this evening, let us remember that we were once strangers in the land of Egypt. The Hebrew name for Egypt is Mitzrayim, which means the narrow places. We know now more than ever we are not entirely free from being caught between the constricting narrow places. So let us find comfort in our celebration together and count the ways in which we are truly free. Also, this is a learning holiday, so keep the questions coming. We're going to light our festive candles. In our house, we sing, light the candles, light the candles, light the candles. Get ready for Pesach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של יום טוב.
And because we're so grateful to have reached this special time and occasion, we join in Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Amen. And if you happen to be in the same space as your children, we'll now take a moment to bless our children, our future, for whom we are teaching so very much tonight, and others as well. But we hope that they will take up the mantle and lead their own Seder one day. And so if you have children who identify as male, such as myself, you'll say with me, Yesimcha Elohim K'Ephraim v'chim Menashe. May God make you like Ephraim and Menashe. And Cantor Binder, who has daughters, is going to lead if you have children who identify as female.
I'm not muted anymore. Yisimech Elohim Kisara Rivka Rachel v'Leah.
And the priestly blessing. Take it away, Cantor.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's face be lifted to you and grant you peace.
Amen.
All right, and if you want a hug and a kiss, now is not a bad time. And we begin our Seder. The Hebrew word Seder means order. We begin with the 14 steps of the Passover Seder. Are we singing Cantor or no?
I did not know you wanted me to do that, but that's fine.
Tag, you're it.
All the steps. Okay. Kadesh orchatz karpas yachatz magid rachta motzi matzah maror korech shulchan orech. Everybody's favorite part. Tzafon barech halel nirtzah.
I hope you'll forgive us tonight for taking a little liberality with the Seder. We're going to go out of order just in the interest of time and Zoom and so that you can have as much time to enjoy your meal as you like. On our table is the Seder Plate, on which there are 6 symbolic foods. Zeroah. A roasted shank bone reminds us of the special lamb that was brought to the temple in Jerusalem on Passover as an offering to God. Beitzah, a boiled or roasted egg, is smooth and round and symbolizes the new life that comes with spring. Maror, a bitter herb, reminds us of the bitterness of Egyptian bondage. Charoset, often made with apples. A mixture of wine, nuts, and fruit represents the mortar our ancestors used in building cities in the land of the pyramids. Karpas. This one isn't so green, but go with me. Potato. We could also go with karpas. Oh boy, green. This is the tricky part. Okay. My green screen is acting up. But here we go. The usually green vegetable reminds us that Passover occurs during springtime when new life brings a feeling of hope. And chazeret, which I swear looks like a piece of lettuce. The bitter herb used in a sandwich follows the custom established by Hillel, a wise rabbi and teacher, to remind us that our ancestors ate matzah and bitter herbs together. And some put on their Seder plate tapuz, an orange, a modern edition. Susanna Heschel, the daughter of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, and a scholar in her own right, introduced the orange into her family Seder as a powerful symbol of inclusion. Since it has multiple sections that are joined together, the orange sends a message that all those who have been marginalized in Jewish life now belong. She originally meant members of the LGBTQIA community and widows, but it also has come to include women rabbis, Jews of color, and many others. All right, we need our 3 matzot covered in a cloth or this really fun plastic bag, as you can see. And those are placed under or next to the Seder plate. Matzah is the food of poor slaves, but also the food of our liberation from Egypt. The 3 matzot symbolize the entire Jewish community with its 3 groups, Kohen, Levi, and Yisrael. Everyone at the table also has a cup of wine or grape juice. All that matters is that it's fruit of the vine. This will be filled 4 times in the course of the Seder, so be sure to keep it handy. We have the cup of Elijah, a special cup filled with wine, and it stands prominently on the Seder table. In the course of the Seder, the door will be open to welcome the prophet Elijah, for whom this cup is reserved. Myriam's cup, a newer tradition to reclaim the place of women in the Passover story, a role that they hold in a very prominent place. Salt water, a new used for dipping vegetables. Salt water symbolizes the tears of our ancestors' bitterness. And a pillow. It is customary to recline during the Seder in an armchair or against pillows. Not only does the comfort remind us of our present freedom, but also fine dining in the ancient world took place with guests reclining on couches. And the reason we recline to the left over and over is because in that ancient world, you would lean on your left arm and eat from the table in front of your couch with your right. And now we turn to Kadesh, the act of sanctifying time. The Kiddush sanctifies not only the wine, but the holiday. Passover is dedicated to remember, here we go, the day of your exodus from Egypt. The first of the 4 cups of wine is called the cup of sanctification. Let us take a moment to recognize the sanctity among us. Then offer to pour wine or grape juice into someone else's cup if you have anyone nearby. In turn, each one is served by another as befits royalty. Having attained the high status of freedom, we celebrate it in style, preferably with red wine because the rabbis considered it more elegant. We stand to recite the Kiddush, unless that means you go off camera. Then we recline to the left to drink the wine, as did the Greco-Roman nobles did at symposia or intellectual drinking banquets.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'chabar mikol am, v'romemanu mikol lashon, v'kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava, מועדים לשמחה, חגים וזמנים לששון. את יום חג המצות הזה זמן חירותנו, מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ומועדי קודשך בשמחה וששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש ישראל והזמנים.
Chaim. And for anyone who might be with us tonight, for whom this is their first Seder, even though it is the second night of Passover, one more Shehechianu, just for good measure.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shecheanu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Amen. And after you've enjoyed your first cup of wine, we turn to the first hand washing. That helps prepare us for finger foods like the karpas, which are the hors d'oeuvres of the Passover banquet. This ritual hand washing sanctifies the act of eating. While there is no blessing, some people like to use hand sanitizer for this part of the hand washing, maybe some baby wipes, whatever works for you. But it's an act of separation between what came before and the eating, just the taste that we're about to enjoy together. All right, so we take our green vegetable, our karpas. Any vegetable will do. Here I have some broccoli. I know it's hard to tell. Or some celery. Parsley is an Ashkenazi favorite. And we'll hold it up for the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri ha'adamah.
Amen. You dip it in your salt water and you eat. All right, we now turn to Myriam's cup. Throughout their desert wanderings, the Israelites were refreshed by miraculous springs that bubbled up out of the deep crevices in the rocky landscape. When Myriam died, the waters dried up. The people mourned the slave child who waited by a river, the woman who danced across a sea, the leader who sang a nation to freedom. When the springs flowed once more, they named them Myriam's well. When fear blocks our path, when our travels deplete us, we seek sources of healing and wells of hope. May our questions and our stories nourish us as Myriam's well renewed our people's spirits. Zot kos Myriam, kos mayim chaim, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. This is the cup of Myriam, the cup of living waters, a reminder of the exodus from Egypt. And if you have a glass of water on your table, fabulous. If not, now's a great time to go get it as we're going to sing Myriam's song. And then you'll take a little bit of water from your drinking glass, each person who's present, and pour a little bit into Myriam's cup. What goes in Myriam's cup will not be drunk by anyone, so it's okay if you've already started your water, but go ahead while Cantor sings for us.
And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Myriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Myriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. When Myriam stood upon the shore and gazed across the sea, his wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part, and with an outstretched hand we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. One last time. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Myriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Myriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
All right. Yachatz, breaking the matzah. We break the middle matzah in two for two reasons. The bigger portion is to be hidden for the afikomen and eaten when retrieved from the children for dessert. It will be the last taste of food at the Seder. The smaller portion will be eaten with the top matzah when we say the special blessing over matzah at the beginning of the meal. And so we take our 3 pieces of matzah, remove the middle, break it in half, hide the larger half if you are so inclined, and we will save the smaller half for later. We put our matzah back into its cover as it is not yet time to eat. The heart of the Seder is the Magid, related to the term Haggadah, meaning storytelling. In words, but also in drama, we retell the Exodus, beginning with an Aramaic explanation of the origin of matzah. We remove the cloth covering the matzah and lift them up so that they are in plain view during the storytelling. And we begin with Ha Lachma Anya. This is the bread of poverty and persecution that our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. As it says in the Torah, 7 days shall you eat matzot, the bread of poverty and persecution, so that you may remember that you were a slave in Egypt. And we read together, let all who are hungry come and eat. Let all who are in need come and share the Passover meal. This year we are still here, next year in the land of Israel. This year we are still slaves, next year free people. And as you help each other pour your second glass of wine, which we will not yet drink, I will share a little music with you by Perry Smilo.
Our proven installation process ensures your gutters are in tip-top shape and prepped to protect your home. Step 1.
We now invite the Smolars family to share with us the 4 questions, and I'm going to put the words back up on the screen.
Guys, over here. Come on, guys. You guys ready? Manishtana halayla hazeh. Mikol Halelot, Mikol Halelot, Shebechol Halelot, Ani Ochlim, Hamezu Matzah, Hamezu Matzah, Halayla Hazeh, Halayla Hazeh, Matzah, Halayla Hazeh, Halayla Hazeh. Kulo Matzah, Shebechol Halelot, Anu Ochlim, She'ar Yerakot, She'ar Yerakot, Halayla Hazeh, Halayla Hazeh, Maror, Maror, Halayla Hazeh, Halayla Hazeh, Maror, Maror, Shebechol Halelot. Minanu matilim, afilu pa'am echat, Halayla hazeh, halayla hazeh, sheteveh ami. Halayla hazeh, halayla hazeh, sheteveh ami. Shebecho halelot, anu oflim, v'nushvinu v'nesuvim, v'nushvinu v'nesuvim. Halayla hazeh, halayla hazeh, kulanu nesuvim. Halayla hazeh, halayla hazeh, kulanu nesuvim.
Thank you. That was fabulous. Way to go, Ruthie, as the bravest of the Smolar's children. All right. We're now going to ask Harriet Greenblatt to start us off with the Exodus story.
Hi, everyone. In Passover land, Chag Sameach. So I'm reading from Exodus chapter 1:6 through 22. It goes like this. Joseph died, and all his brothers and all that generation. But the Israelites were fertile and prolific. They multiplied and increased very greatly, so that the land was filled with them. A new king arose over Egypt who did not know Joseph, and he said to his people, "Look, the Israelite people are much too numerous for us. Let us deal shrewdly with them, so that they may not increase. Otherwise, in the event of war, they may join our enemies in fighting against us and rise from the ground." So they set taskmasters over them to oppress them with forced labor, and they built garrison cities for Pharaoh, Pithom and Ramesses. But the more they were oppressed, the more they increased and spread out, so that the Egyptians came to dread the Israelites. The Egyptians ruthlessly imposed upon the Israelites the various labors that they made them perform. Ruthlessly, they made life bitter for them with harsh labor at mortar and bricks, and with all sorts of tasks in the field. The king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives, one of whom was named Shiphrah and the other Puah, saying, "When you deliver the Hebrew women, look at the infant. If it is a boy, kill him. If it is a girl, let her live." The midwives, fearing God, did not do as the king of Egypt had told them. They let the boys live. So the king of Egypt summoned the midwives and said to them, "Why have you done this thing, letting the boys live?" The midwives said to Pharaoh, "Because the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women. They are vigorous. Before the midwife can come to them, they've given birth." And God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and increased greatly. And God established households for the midwives because they feared God. Then Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, "Every boy that is born you shall throw into the Nile, but let every girl live."
Thank you so much, Harriet.
Thank you.
עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, בני חורין. עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין. עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, בני חורין.
We'll now turn to Sherry Barsky, who will share with us some of the teachings of our Haggadah.
Chag Sameach. When in time to come your children ask you, what is the meaning of the decrees, laws, and rules that the eternal our God has enjoined upon you? You shall say to your children, we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, and the eternal freed us from Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. And the eternal produced before our eyes great and awful signs and wonders in Egypt against Pharaoh and all his household. God freed us from there so that God could take us and give us the land that had been promised on oath to our ancestors. God hasn't taken our ancestors. If God hadn't taken our ancestors out of Egypt, then we would still be enslaved to Pharaoh in Egypt, along with our children and our children's children. Even if all of us were wise, all of us discerning, all of us veteran scholars, and all of us knowledgeable in Torah, it would still be a mitzvah for us to retell the story of the Exodus from Egypt. The more and the longer one expands and embellishes the story, the more commendable. A tale of Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Joshua, and Rabbi Elazar, son of Azariah, Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Tarfon. They were reclining at the Seder in Bnei Barak, and they spent the whole night long telling the story of going out of Egypt, until their pupils came and said to them, "Our masters, it is time to recite the morning Shema." So remember, it could always be worse.
Thank you, Sherry. And now we turn to the four children. What does the wise child say?
What are the testimonies, the statutes, and the laws which the eternal God has commanded us?
So you teach the child all the laws of Passover until the very last one. We do not proceed to any afikomen after eating the Passover lamb. What does the wicked child say?
What's it to you?
This child emphasizes to you and not to themselves. Since the child excludes themselves from the community and rejects a major principle of faith, you should set that child's teeth on edge and say, "It is because of this that the Eternal did for me when I went free from Egypt. Me, and not you, that one over there. Had that one been there, they would not have been redeemed." What does the simple child ask?
What's going on?
And you shall say to that child, "By a mighty hand the Eternal brought us out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." And as for the child who does not know how to ask, you should prompt them. As it is said, you shall tell your child on that day, saying, "It is because of this that the Eternal did for me when I went free from Egypt." We'll now hear from Camille Bloomberg.
Chag Sameach. My father was a wandering Aramean. He descended to Egypt and resided there in small numbers. He became a nation, great, powerful, and numerous. Then the Egyptians treated us badly. They persecuted us and subjected us to hard labor. We cried out to the Eternal, the God of our ancestors. "God, hear our voice." God saw our persecution, our labor, and our oppression. God took us out of Egypt with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, with awesome power, signs, and wonders. Then God brought us to this place and gave us this land, a land of milk and honey.
Thank you, Camille. We'll now hear the next few chapters of our story from Robin Valentine.
You're muted. You're muted.
Pharaoh's law that every Hebrew boy baby should be killed caused great sorrow among the Israelites. But one Hebrew mother managed to hide her baby boy for 3 months. Then she made a basket of reeds and, putting him into it, carried him down to a river and hid the basket among the reeds there. Soon after this, Pharaoh's daughter came with her maidens to the riverside, and when she saw the beautiful child, she sent one of her maidens to bring it to her. She took the little boy to the palace and named him Moses, and he became a great man among the Egyptians. He knew, however, that he was a Hebrew, and when he saw how badly his own people were treated, he tried to help them. But at last he was forced to leave Egypt, and he became a shepherd, taking care of the flocks of a priest called Jethro. He even married Jethro's daughter. After a time, God spoke to Moses out of a burning bush and told him that he must go and rescue his people from the cruel Egyptians. Moses thought he could not do this, but God promised to help him. To show him what he would be able to do with that help, God turned the rod that Moses carried into a serpent. Then God told Moses to pick that serpent up by the tail, and as he did so, it became a rod again. He showed him another sign also, but Moses was still afraid because he could not talk well and thought that Pharaoh would not listen to him. So God told him to take his brother Aaron for a spokesman. Moses and Aaron therefore went into Egypt, where they called together the leaders among their own people, the Hebrews or Israelites, and told them what God had commanded. Moses also performed the miracles that God had empowered him to do, and the people believed that God had sent him. After this, Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and told him that it was God's command that he should let the Israelites go. Pharaoh knew nothing about God and became very angry, saying that Moses and Aaron kept the people from their work by telling them such things. He treated the poor Israelites worse than before, but Moses had faith in God, so he was able to perform before the king the wonderful things that he had done before his own people. Still, Pharaoh would not let the children of Israel go.
Thank you, Robin. We now pour out 10 drops of wine from our cups, wine being the symbol of our joy, but we want to remember that there were those who suffered so that we could be free. And so I encourage you, after we spill out these 10 drops for each of the 10 plagues, that you not lick your finger, you wipe it on a napkin, the tablecloth, something else, so that you don't enjoy even that little bit of sweetness from the suffering of others. The Holy One of Blessing brought 10 plagues on the Egyptians in Egypt. These are the 10.
Dam.
Blood.
Sephardeia.
Frogs.
Kinim.
Lice.
Arov.
Swarms of insects.
Dever.
Cattle disease.
Shechin.
Boils.
Barad.
Hail.
Arbe.
Locusts.
Choshech.
Darkness.
Makat bechorot.
Death of the firstborn.
When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Thus said our God, bold Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. No more shall they in bondage toil. Let my people go. Let them come out with Egypt's spoil. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go.
We'll now have Ronnie Staffenberg finish up our Exodus story for us.
The Jews departed Egypt in haste. They assembled as a community to eat the roasted Paschal lamb and the unleavened bread, matzah. Then after the sun rose on the 15th day of the Hebrew month of Nisan, the Israelites rose together to leave the land of Egypt. After 3 days, Pharaoh started to regret that he had permitted the Israelites to leave. He mobilized his army in hot pursuit of his former slaves. He reached them near the banks of the Sea of Reeds. Moses led the Israelites onward until they came to the very borders of the Sea of Reeds. Then God spoke to Moses, "Lift up your rod, stretch out your hand over the sea, and split it. Then the children of Israel shall go into the midst of the sea on dry ground." Moses did as God ordered. A strong east wind blew all night, and the waters of the Sea of Reeds split. The Israelites marched on dry ground through the Sea of Reeds until they reached the opposite side in safety. The Egyptians continued their pursuit, but the waters of the Sea of Reeds closed over them and drowned Pharaoh's army. Thus, God liberated the children of Israel from the Egyptians, and the children of Israel saw God's great power and believed in God. Moses led the Israelites through the desert where food and water were scarce. But God did not abandon the Israelites and rained manna from heaven for the people to collect and eat. Soon the Israelites reached Mount Sinai, where they received the 10 Commandments and became the Jewish nation.
אילו הוציאנו ממצרים, הוציאנו ממצרים, דיינו, 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 אילו נתן לנו את השבת, נתן לנו את השבת, דיינו, 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 אילו נתן לנו את התורה, נתן לנו את התורה, דיינו, 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 דיינו.
Had God only taken us out of Egypt, it would have been enough. Had God only given us the Sabbath, it would have been enough. Had God only given us the Torah, it would have been enough. Rabban Gamliel used to say, all who have not explained the significance of 3 things during the Passover Seder have not fulfilled their duty. And these are the Passover lamb, the matzah, and the maror. Why this Passover lamb? The Passover lamb that our ancestors ate in the days of the temple, why did we used to eat it? To remind ourselves that God passed over our ancestors' houses in Egypt at this very hour, on this very date, yesterday. Moses instructed us, when your children ask you, what do you mean by this ceremony? You shall say, it is the Passover offering to the Eternal, because God passed over the houses in Israel in Egypt, of Israel in Egypt, when God struck the Egyptians, but saved our houses. Why this matzah? To remind ourselves that even before the dough of our ancestors in Egypt had time to rise and become leavened, the Holy One of Blessing was revealed and redeemed them. The Torah says they baked 11 cakes of the dough that they had taken out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, since they had driven out of Egypt and could not delay, nor had they prepared any provisions for themselves. Why this maror? To remind ourselves the Egyptians embittered our ancestors' lives. They embittered their lives with hard labor, with mortar and bricks, construction, and with all sorts of field labor, agriculture. Whatever the task, they worked them ruthlessly. In every generation, one is obligated to see oneself as one who personally went out from Egypt. Just as it says, you shall tell your child on that very day, it's because of this that God did for me when I went out from Egypt. Not only were our ancestors redeemed by the Holy One of Blessing, but even we were redeemed with them. Just as it says, God took us from there in order to bring us and to give us the land God swore to our ancestors. If you had any matzah hanging out, we cover it up. we raise our second cup of wine, and not just yet, don't drink it just yet, but we say together first, hallelujah, and then we bless.
Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim. And now if you feel so inclined to wash your hands with water, I know, strange, something that we've gotten used to quite a lot this past year. This time we have a blessing for the hand washing, as we are about to eat more than just a little karpas, but taste the matzah, which will then lead us to the meal, which is coming, not yet, but sooner. So we have the blessing up on the screen. If you need to do that, please go ahead. We'll come back together in just a moment. All right. This is the one time during Passover in which one is obligated to eat matzah, and it must be plain without eggs or other ingredients that might enrich this bread of poverty. What you do the rest of the week is your own business. The leader, whoever your leader is going to take all 3 matzot in hand, technically 2.5. We want to be sure that middle matzah is broken and the others are still whole. And we will recite the usual blessing for bread of all forms and a special blessing just for matzah. We take and eat from the top and middle matzot while reclining to the left. We'll save that 3rd matzah for later. And if you'd like, you may dip this first taste of matzah in salt or charoset, but nothing else just yet.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah.
Amen. Now we take the maror, the bitter herb, whether you have the straight up white horseradish, fresh or jarred, or that which is pickled with beet juice. Makes it a little easier to endure. And we take some maror. You may dip it in charoset if you like, but we're going to recite the blessing and eat. But we don't recline at this moment because reclining is a custom of the free, while maror and charoset remind us of persecution and the bitterness of slavery.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror.
Amen. That was a good horseradish face, Canterbiner. Yet last night, my horseradish was not very spicy at all. It was actually a letdown. We clearly got an old jar.
Mine makes me cry.
Well, that's the point.
My son used to eat it straight from the jar.
We have just eaten matzah and maror separately. However, in the days of the temple, Hillel, the head of the Sanhedrin, used to bind into one sandwich Passover lamb, matzah, and maror. He ate them all together in order to observe the law. You shall eat it, the Passover sacrifice, on matzot and maror. Eating the sandwich tonight reminds us of the way life combines moments of suffering, maror or bitterness, and of relief, matzah, or the bread of our freedom, reminding us of both enslavement and freedom. Together we say, in memory of Passover in the temple as Hillel used to celebrate it. And some in my family, our sandwich is the maror and the charoset. Some people do it a little differently, but enjoy your matzah sandwich. This is what's going to fill your belly until we wrap up our Seder together. All right. We're going to skip a step and go straight to dessert. Who could complain? The afikomen, the other half of the middle matzah that was hidden at the beginning of the Seder, must now be eaten. Its taste lingers as the last food eaten at the Seder. The children are responsible for recovering the lost afikomen, and they may demand compensation for recovering it. After the business has been settled, everyone partakes in this dessert. If you have hidden the afikomen in your home, you are welcome to unleash the finders of the afikomen. But for everyone else, we're going to do a scavenger hunt, the beauty of Zoom. I'm going to pose a question, and your job is to find an object in your house that fits the bill. And you're going to hold it up to your camera so we can all see what it is. The first object I'd like you to go find in your home is something that reminds you of family. Something that reminds you of family. And once you have it, just hold up to the screen so we can see. I'm going to lean in so I can see better. All right, Sherry has a photo. Camille has a photo.
Rabbi, can you stop the screen share so we can see?
Yeah, let's do that. Much better. All
Thank
right,
you.
so if you put it on gallery view, we can see better. All right, we see a lot of family photos. I had a feeling that was going to be the thing. Oh, Helene, why don't you unmute and tell us what you're holding and why? And then Donna, you're going to go next.
I'm holding a clementine because Lauren loves clementines and they're right here on the table.
Oh, fantastic. Donna, what do you have and why? Oh, Donna, you got to unmute.
Hate when people do that. This is Lalik, which was one of my mother's favorite possessions. And it's lovebirds. And it just reminds me of my parents because it was in my house growing up too. So love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Yes. Ringo.
Really nice. Peace and love. Oh, really nice. Oh, Adria, it looks like you have something special. Tell us about it. Oh no. Is that Ella?
This is Ella.
Oh, fantastic. I see you now.
Okay. Tell the rabbi what you have.
I have the afikomen because I found it.
Oh, you're the winner. Okay. Mazel tov. I hope Maya's not too jealous.
The afikomen bag.
Nice. You know, so my in-laws have really cool afikomen bags and different New York sports teams. Yeah. I love the art of the afikomen bag.
Actually, that was my bag.
Nice. All right. Here's our next scavenger hunt object. An object that reminds you of being Jewish. Oh, Phyllis has a Kiddush cup. Ooh. Morris, you got to tell us what you got there. Got to unmute and let us know. We see some Kiddush cups. We see some holiday candles. Ken has a Chanukia, a Hanukkah menorah. Christine, unmute and tell us what you have and why. Ooh, a Torah. Very nice.
My father engraved that on marble. That's a picture of me when I was 13 years old.
Whoa. So a picture of your bar mitzvah. Yeah?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
We were muted and we didn't get a chance to say this is a heart of love.
Oh, love it. Love it. More Chanukiot. Gail has some more Kiddush cups, it looks like. Are they Seder cups? Oh, you just got to unmute, Gail, and then we'll find out. Very nice. Oh, the wine itself, Donna?
No, but this was made by one of my children. Unfortunately, I don't remember which one, but it could be 25 years old at Beth preschool.
Whoa.
It says Pesach on it.
And it says Pesach on it.
Nice. All right. Robin Smollers, are you guilty of that project? Gail,
Before
go for
her
it.
time.
Just teasing.
Judy Swirsky, though. Judy.
Wow, Miss Judy.
Just Judy.
Gail, what do you have? Gail Henkin. Yeah.
Oh, these are Beklach that belong to my grandfather from Russia. And the mystery is they never tarnish. It's some kind of weird silver that doesn't tarnish. All these years I've had
Whoa.
it. There are two little small shot glasses with Russian engravings.
Cool. Very nice. All right, last scavenger hunt object. All right. Something that tells a story.
tells a story.
You.
McKenna.
All right, Bloomberg's, tell us what you got. Is that a Haggadah or just a storybook?
How do I get this out there?
There you go.
This is the family Haggadah that I don't remember using any other, but it tells us different traditions from the Ashkenazi versus Sephardic. It says a lot, and it's one of my favorite things that we do.
Lovely. I see a bunch of Haggadot up here, all different kinds. Very nice. Sherry, is that you or is it Bonnie? Feel free to unmute and share what it looks like. You have a book.
That's Bonnie.
Okay, great. I couldn't tell if you were on the same screen or not. Go ahead, Bonnie. What you got?
This is actually written by my our godfather, both Sherry's and mine. He is a survivor of the Holocaust. He is also a former rabbi, retired from Vineland, New Jersey. He has written and taught about the Holocaust. And as a child, I would sit with my father listening to the stories. He got me so interested that from the age of about 9-ish through high school, I studied it and ended up working at the Holocaust Resource Center up at Kane University.
Wow.
Helping teachers, professors, and students, both high school and college, because of him.
Wow.
And I love him to this day. He's still very active as much as he can.
Wow. Amazing.
I'm grateful we have them.
Robin Valentine, then Drew Staffenberg, then we're going to move on. But thank you so much. It was a powerful story, Bonnie.
This is actually the Kiddush cup from our wedding that Dan broke. So it tells the story of our wedding.
Beautiful. Nice. And Drew, bring us home.
This is a talit that was my grandfather's talit that my father wore at his bar mitzvah. I wore, my son wore, and this December we'll present it to my oldest grandson at Masada for his bar mitzvah.
Amazing. Really cool. I love it. And you notice how some of these objects cross different, or more than one category. But thank you so much for sharing. It's so lovely to see these objects that are so meaningful to everyone. And Ella, I absolutely see your book. It's a good one. Nice work.
Okay.
All right, we're going to turn back to our Haggadah for a moment of gratitude. And just like we do on Friday nights, instead of saying the grace after the meal, since we haven't had the meal yet, I'm going to invite everyone to type in the chat box something they're thankful for this second night of Passover. I know I'm really incredibly grateful to be with all of you, and I'd love to hear what you were thankful for. Grateful for this service. Grateful for this fun gathering. Grateful for spring break. Amen. For family and good health. Grateful to be vaccinated and celebrating together. I know it's not just Bloomberg's and the Garwoods, but so many others. Thankful to do a first Seder with your children this year, which was very different for many people last year. Grateful for a roof over our heads, food to eat. Oh, grateful for animals on earth. Amen, Maya. Grateful for family. Ella's grateful for her mom. Well, I'm grateful for your mom too, Ella. All right, grateful for vaccines. Wonderful. All right, keep them coming. Oh, Hunter's grateful for dancing, and we are grateful to watch Hunter dance. All right, we're going to now turn to our third cup, although you're welcome to keep those blessings coming. We want to fill up our third cup, the cup of blessing. And the good thing about being on Zoom is that you can have 4 cups of wine and not have to worry about driving home. Canner, whenever you're ready.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen and l'chaim. We pour a large cup of wine and open a door in honor of Elijah, who symbolizes future redemption. He will reconcile the hearts of parents to their children and children to their parents. Elijah is the one who we believe will usher in the world to come, the world as it should be. Until that time, we have to live in the world as it could be, but we open up our doors and our hearts in the hopes that maybe this Passover, he'll come.
Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimhera v'yameinu, Yavo Eleinu, Im Mashiach ben David, Im Mashiach ben David. We are waiting for a time to come when injustice shall be gone. Pain and violence will be no more. Done with hatred, done with war. And all the people in the land will lend their voices, lend their hand. That day starts with me and Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimhera v'yameinu, Yavo ben David. When that day comes, the sun will dawn on a historic bright new morn. The human race in equality, no crying hungry mouths to feed. Our dream of tzedek will be true. The Jewish soul will be renewed. That day starts with you and me and Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Giladi bimhera v'yameinu, Yavo Eleinu, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David. Call and response. So we will not wait a minute more.
We will not wait a minute more.
To build the world we're waiting for.
To build the world we're waiting for.
Building starts with you and me.
Building starts with you and me.
And Eliyahu,
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 Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimhera v'yameinu. David, Eliyahu Hanavi.
What usually comes next in a traditional Haggadah, I was very shocked to see as a young adult, that it was pour out your love on our enemies. And it was asking God to pour out God's vengeance on all those who would try to hurt us. And I can understand how that text came to be in our Haggadah after so many different bouts in our history of persecution and oppression. But I much prefer this alternate text, which asks us to pour out our love on our allies, on those righteous Gentiles, those who have looked out for us and cared for us, even in times of great adversity, but also those who are not Jewish, but have decided to make a life with those who are, who participate in Jewish communal living, and people like my own father. And so I want to dedicate this reading to all of them. Pour out your love on the nations who have known you and on the kingdoms who call upon your name. For they show loving kindness to the seed of Jacob, and they defend your people Israel from those who would devour them alive. May they live to see the canopy of peace spread over your chosen ones and to participate in the joy of your nations. And on that high note, we fill our fourth cup of wine, but do not yet drink, because first we need to sing the Festive Hallel, our psalm of praise and gratitude for God. And we're now transitioning from the memory of the past to our hopes for the future.
Give thanks to God, for God is great. Ki leolam chasto. Let every living thing now say, Ki leolam chasto. This house of God's for everyone, Ki leolam chasto. And everybody's free to come, Ki leolam chasto. Give our thanks to God each day, Ki leolam chasto. Let everything that breathes now say, Ki leolam chasto. Give thanks to God, for God is great, Ki leolam chasto. Let every living thing now say, Ki leolam chasto.
I want everyone to know that Cantor Binder wrote that tune. I want to thank him for making that psalm accessible to all. We now raise our fourth and final cup of wine, the cup of acceptance, as we bless and drink together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen. So we have started counting. We start counting the Omer tonight. This is the period between the second day of Passover and our next major Jewish holiday, Shavuot, the Feast of Weeks, which both Passover and Shavuot were two of the three pilgrimage festivals when the ancient Israelites would flock from wherever they lived to the temple in Jerusalem to offer up sacrifices to God. And so on this very first day of the Omer, we count together. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav b'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Hayom yom echad laomer. Our praise to you, eternal sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Today is the first day of the Omer. And just as on Hanukkah, we increase our light each day, we count up, so too do we do when we count the Omer, which is historically a period of sadness and mourning, but is bookended by these moments of joy and gladness. We're going to sing a few songs before we conclude and then tell everyone B'tei Avon, bon appetit, but we hope that you'll enjoy these Passover favorites.
Adirhu, yivne beto bekarov, bimhera, bimhera, b'yameinu bekarov, el b'nei betcha bekarov. Maybe we should do Chad Gad Ya? There we go. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya. I wonder if we should take volunteers for this.
I'm looking. I don't see anyone with their hand raised. Oh, Sherry Barsky's volunteering.
I'll take number one.
Okay.
I'm not singing. My father bought for two zuzim.
Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya.
Thank you, Sherry.
The cat that ate the kid my father bought for two zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya.
Raise your hand.
Staffenberg Borstein's, you ready? Oh, Hillary, go for it.
Oh, we're ready.
Then came the cat that ate the kid my father bought for two zuzim. Chad Gad Ya, Chad Gad Ya.
Oh, I love it. A live prop. All right. Any other brave souls? It's okay. You don't have to sing. You could read it. Oh, Ken, go for it.
I will not sing. Then came the dog that bit the cat, that ate the kid my father bought for 2 zuzim.
Go, take it away, Canner.
Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya.
Fantastic.
Let's do the next.
Who got
All right, Watsons, go for it.
Then came the fire that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid. Father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya.
Fantastic. All right, Harriet, go for it. Harriet Sanders.
I don't know where you are.
No, sorry, Harriet Sanders had her hand up, but you can take the next one if you like.
Last page, Harriet.
Harriet Sanders, we just need you to unmute.
I was
Go for it.
muted.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, should I say it now?
Go for it.
Then came the water that quenched the fire, that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid my father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya.
Fantastic, thank you. Oh, Morris Binder's ready to go.
Then came the ox that drank the water, that quenched the fire, that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid that my father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya.
Wonderful. Harry Greenblatt, you want to take Then Came the Butcher?
I can't read it. It's the print is
Oh, is it too small? 1 second, here we go.
I
Is that
just
better?
Yeah, I can do it. Hold on a second. Okay, so
go for it.
Then came the butcher that slew the ox, that drank the water, that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid my father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya.
Wonderful. Who's next? We need to finish it up. Oh, Tammy, you want it? Steve's not sure. Oh, Andrea, go for it.
All right. Then came the angel of death that killed the butcher, that slew the ox, that drank the water, that quenched the fire, that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid my father bought for 2 zuzim. Ha Gadya, ha Gadya.
Fantastic. Anyone want to bring us home?
I'll do the last one. I wasn't
Thanks,
paying attention,
Steve.
Rabbi. When you were Chen,
We were
we
paying attention.
we
We're
were
bad.
we were kibitzing. Which part is it?
Then came the Holy One.
Then came the Holy One, blessed be God, and destroyed the angel of death, that killed the butcher, that slew the ox, that drank the water, that quenched the fire, that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid that my father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya.
Fantastic. We did it.
Yay.
Canner, anything else you were burning to sing, or shall we start to wrap up?
Oh, let's do Next Year in Jerusalem.
Okay, before we do that, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight to be with us on Zoom. We wish you a very happy and healthy Passover. If you would like to participate in our week-long Passover programming, a lot of amazing Jewish music, please go on our temple website. If you have any trouble, just go to bethchaim.org/Passover, and you can register for all these amazing programs with Noah Aronson, which includes Friday night services, which he is going to be leading for folks all over the country. So in order to participate in this week's Friday night service, you have to register for Noah Aronson's program. It's free and open to everybody. But Saturday morning, we will recite the names of for Kaddish during Yizkor, our memorial service for anyone observing a yahrzeit this week. So we will be making that happen on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. when we come together for Passover Yizkor service. Thanks everyone for the beautiful comments in the chat box. We're going to close out with Next Year in Jerusalem, which I know many of us are hoping that next year, universally in person, not just small groups. And I know some people are still not seeing anyone this Pesach, but also Yerushalayim, also known as an Ir Shalem, a city of wholeness and peace. May we have a little bit of taste of shalom, that peace on earth, not just in the Jerusalem of heaven. So we want that some of that Yerushalayim of this earthly world. So may that be so. May Elijah come soon and speedily in our day. And we close together in song.
This is an old Hasidic melody. Many of you probably know it. Even if you don't know it, please sing with gusto. Leshana haba birushalayim, 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 Leshana haba birushalayim. Next year in Jerusalem, everyone.
Chag Pesach Sameach. Safe drive home, everyone.
B'tevon.
Chag Sameach.
B'tevon, enjoy.
Thank you so much for doing
this.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Cantor.
Our pleasure.
Good.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you. Very,
Chag
very
Sameach,
nice.
Resniks.
Thank you.
Leibowitz Brodsky. To all the binders. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Lori, turn it off, please.
Take care, Sherry. Be well. Oh, Wyatt. Happy Passover. Yay. He's my cousin.
Why ate the entire service?
You know what I'm done? No, you know what happened? Oh, look at the baby.
She's adorable.
I was in war braces. Yeah. And she didn't wear her retainer. And I guess from the pregnancy, shifted. Look at that baby. Oh,
Are you talking about my Invisalign, Alana?
Her name's Alana too.
All right, take care, everybody. We're going to close out.
Take care,
everyone.
Be well.